Good morning, friends, or a good day to you, all of you. We have reached the module 4 of the unit 2. In this, we will be discussing more aspects of foundations of management and entrepreneurship. As I have introduced one shloka in the previous module, I would like to introduce one more shloka which is relevant and universally applicable for all the fraternity in the management, because you are also going to be one of the management professionals, because whether you are having a bachelor's degree or master's degree does not matter, you have chosen to be a management professional. So, you must know certain things which are rather I would say pearls of wisdom which have been gifted by our ancient wisdom. In Bhagavad Gita there is a shloka which talks about again the power of the word, power of the speech that a person has got. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayet swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapamuchyate. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra that anudvegakaram vakyam, without emotions, if you can utter a word, that is equivalent to vachaka tapassu. How many people will be able to utter a word without adding any emotion, but only one emotion, that is pleasantness? You say the words with pleasantness, you keep the smile when you are saying, and that is what in the modern management parlance it is called assertiveness. There is a foundation for the assertiveness in Bhagavad Gita. How many people learn about Bhagavad Gita? Because we reserve it for the old age. By the time we become old, we cannot sit, we cannot concentrate, we cannot read one shloka. By the time uttering a Sanskrit shloka will become French and Latin. We are born in this country, but we are alien to Sanskritam. These are all the things which are happening. Again, the same thing, common sense. When we lose common sense, we lose ancient wisdom. Unfortunately, Bharatiyata is not being reflected in the courses that we do. My simple attempt through these courses, whatever lessons I have been given to do by our institute, MGNCRE, is to induct or embed this Bharatiyata, which is actually universally applicable, because Bharatiyata is not a religion, it is a way of living. So, my dear friends, you are young people, you have taken the course after the intermediate or +2. So, my submission to all of you as your fatherly figure is that you must know our ancient wisdom and leverage it for your own personal growth and professional growth. Let us get into the lesson now. As has been the practice, objectives of this chapter. We have understood the various functions of management, we have got the conceptual clarity, we have learnt about how decisions are, we have to learn about how decisions are made, implemented in the organization, and to know about how barriers and conditions of decision making process hinder organizational effectiveness. So, this is the agenda with which we are moving forward. Planning is continued in this course also, because planning is has got the vastness, because it is very vast in terms of its reach and scope and also importance. Evaluation of employee performance and rewarding is also part of the planning. If organizations are not paying attention to how the appraisal process is done, organizations are bound to get dissatisfaction from the employees. Organizations will have to create a robust, inclusive, and I would say a collaborative process of appraisal. Then the appraisal process will have its respect and credibility. Then everything is a cakewalk. Assessment of employee performance and reward the employee for his or her contributions must happen without any time delay. This step includes an analysis and feedback on the performance of each employee. Performance of, for example, when you talk about feedback, many people, including the so called very highly qualified persons, giving feedback is easy. but taking feedback is the difficult task. I will be very comfortable and at ease while giving feedback, but to accept and receive feedback from others about me as a manager, as a leader, I have some irking moments. I will not be able to accept, because we have taken feedback, the word feedback, with a negative connotation, meaning you are criticizing. I am sorry, that is not the intention of feeding back. Feeding back is a mechanical word, actually speaking. The mission gives some information and it feeds back to another mission, and that mission feedbacks to the first mission, or something like that. A system will have a feedback system, so thereby it will be functioning regularly, taking the feedback. Similarly, human systems need feedback. So, the reward and recognition, when it happens timely, it will reinforce desirable behavior. Many companies, I do not know how many companies you may be knowing, they may pay salary on time, but when it comes to appraisals, they have their own time. Only few companies will have, just like your salary, you will have your increment, and you will get the increment from the salary of May. Suppose cycle is March to April or April to March. In the April salary that you get, you will be getting your increment. You will be getting the April salary in the month of May. So, in the month of May, in your pay slip, you will have a letter, a personal letter written to you, congratulating you on your performance and also recommending you to do some corrective steps, and you will be asked to meet the manager in a very familiar kind of environment where he will be helping you not to repeat some mistakes, and it is an enabling process rather than policing process or controlling process. Need for management by objectives in organizations. It is very much needed, because until and unless you have a planning process in place, organizations will, it is like a pack of cards, you will topple down. MBO process helps the employees to understand their duties and responsibilities at the workplace and the importance of their contributions in achieving the overall organizational goals. MBO process leads to satisfied employees by eliminating the job mismatch and consequent confusions, because you have who will do what and why and when. When it is everything is written over there, there is absolutely no confusion. Confusion creates failures. Employees realize the importance of the roles, each role employee plays is very important, and perform better for the achievement of the objectives of the organization. There will be a regular and continuous flow of organizational communication at different levels, and it could result in a positive ambience at the workplace. For example, in one of my clients, I requested them right from the current financial year to start a monthly email from the CEO. You must speak about what happened last month. What are the lowlights and highlights, kind of a thing. Lowlights, you please help people to make them highlight. I mean to say that there are some gaps in the performance. How do you address them? What is the lesson that we have learnt? Share that one in the communication you make to each employee. Then each employee will get connected every month on a monthly basis to the CEO and the CEO's aspirations and CEO's goals. CEO's goals and aspirations are nothing but organizational goals and aspirations. So, my dear students, when you join an organization, you must know what is the expectation of the CEO. If you do not know that, seek for it. Probably people will appreciate you. Then you will be able to work towards, for example, not necessarily, for example, you must have joined as a trainee. You need not ask for the CEO's aspirations, but still you can ask it. Number one, what is the aspiration of your manager, immediate supervisor, immediate manager? Then you must ask your immediate manager about his boss aspirations from him. Thereby, you will generate an interest in other people about you, because you wanted to align your activities and performance with the objectives of the organization. What are the limitations of the MBO? We need to know about it, because every system, that is precisely the reason I have been telling you, TQM has come, total productivity management, total people management, total quality management has come. but did not change organizations thoroughly. It has changed some aspects. It has not become a panacea. Panacea means cure for all. No, it's not the cure for all. Still organizations are having troubles. You came to know about Dr. C. Prahlad's core competency model. You have Peter Block's redesigning the organizations. You have systems theories, and you have SAP, ERP. You have maturity models in the IT organizations. All these models are there, but they are not the panacea. They are not the cure for all problems. Problems are unique. Organizations are unique. Individuals are unique. So you have to evolve uniquely. So there is no one solution for all the problems. There is no one model in the organization which will work for all organizations. But there is one model, unfortunately, which is not touched upon. As I told you, common sense and righteousness. If these two things are embedded in our systems, success will chase us. It's not you are chasing the success. It will never happen. Success will have to chase you. For that, you must have common sense and righteousness. That is, your actions are dharmic in nature. You don't do harm to yourself. You don't do harm to others. You don't do harm to the environment in which you are operating. You don't do harm to society at large. Then things will happen automatically. MBA may ignore prevailing organizational culture and working conditions. It may ignore, because it is focusing more on who will do what, when it is done, how it is done, things like that. More emphasis on targets and objectives without bothering much about existing circumstances or contexts in which organizations will have to operate or people will have to perform duties. MBA process increases comparisons between individuals at the workplace, and employees may involve in nasty politics to outshine their fellow workers. See, when you have a number game, when you do a number game, you will try to manipulate your numbers. Say for example, selling 1500 units, and you give some promotional activities. You incur more expenditure. You call clients for a meeting. You have cocktail dinner with them. Is it not adding cost to the company? So your marketing and sales expenditure, administrative expenditure of marketing and sales is increasing. Thereby you are reducing the margins from the sales which you have actually made, but you show that you have made the numbers. This is one example. So you do manipulations many times, not only this kind of a thing, many times. Sometimes you make minor tweaks in the system, you circumvent, you do shortcut methods, causing some risks. Is it not manipulation? So this kind of number game and competition which is unhealthy among the employees might crop up if you follow MBO. That is the reason MBO has not become a panacea for the problems of the organization. We are discussing about foundations of management. Remember one thing, how current management scenario has got evolved. What are the foundations? These are all the foundations. MBO is one of the foundations which may be weak, but it has its own limitations. Now let us talk about decision making. We have learnt about MBO. We are coming to a very important facet of the organizational culture and organizational work processes and management process, decision making. You see the picture, he is puzzled where to go, how to go, when to go, which way to choose. Organizations will have similar scenarios more frequently because the markets have become dynamic. China is dumping so many products at a cost which is very cutthroat. Apple has its own niche market. As I told you, niche market, meaning some people prefer only that kind of a touch from the Apple phone. They always like only Macintosh and Apple notebook, and they don't want to use because they are allied customers. and they will be doing all such kind of things only with Apple products. They will be feeling comfortable about that. It may not be a prestige for them, a question for them, but it is the ease and the comfort the product gives make them buy. Even sometimes even a middle manager who may be having 1 lakh rupee of salary per month might go for Apple product because he likes the quality, he gives a preference for that one. So, niche market. So, what is happening here is that decision is being taken even for making a purchase, even for understanding what way will be the better way. So, let us understand what is decision making. Decision making is the core of management activity, and it is a process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information and assessing alternative solutions. E. McFarland defined decision making as an act of choice, wherein an executive forms a conclusion, rather comes to a conclusion about what must not be done, in a given situation. You may even call it do's and don'ts, but what must not be done, you must understand that one. So, you should not do at any cost, even if it comes through some sort of a problem or gives some sort of a loss, you must not do, because it might avoid further loss. So, this is what the core strength, a core activity of planning, and why it is become a core activity of management. According to Simon, the decision making process can have 3 sequential steps. It is a sequential step. Intelligent activity, the initial phase of informant scan for the conditions and requirements that call for decisions using the intellect. Design activity, the place of inventing, developing, analyzing the possible course of action to take place. Having got the intellectual inputs, you design the actions. Choice activity, the final phase of actual choice, selecting a particular course of action from those available, which means you have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan 3, and you choose which is the best plan, which is giving you more results, less cost, no compromise on the quality, which means you have to have a continuous examination of all the choices you have made, evaluate them, choose the best out of them. When you do this kind of a process, it is really a very good process. For example, in tender, call for tender and tender selection, finalization, L1, L2, L3, lowest 1, lowest 2, lowest 3. There are organizations which go for lowest 3. The L1 must have given a less rate, but in the specifications his qualities was compromised. L2 has given lowest 2 in the bidding process, has given a little less, again he has compromised quality. L3 has stuck to one particular price, but given preference and importance to quality which is higher than L2 and L1. So, a wise organization will give the tender, award the tender to L3, because L3, though it is lowest 3, which means he has given the highest price of the 2, he was chosen because that is the decision making process of the organization. Organization believes in quality, its endurance and the long term benefits quality gives. Why people choose products which are and established brands? Why people have not chosen products which are Chinese products? You know, Chinese is nothing but duplicates. That entire nation has become synonymous with duplicates, because Chinese will make cheap things, cheap electronics, cheap aspects and cheap technology, and everything is cheap because they wanted to sell at a cheap rate. So, you get when you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. There is a saying in the recruitment field. So, you have to pay well to get a good talent which is valid, and the talent is going to give so much of value addition to the organization, which means if you buy a talent, you hire a talent with 20 lakhs CTC, the 20 lakhs CTC fellow will be giving a contribution of 20 crores. You have to look at that way. So, that is what is called, and there are styles like conceptual, directive, behavioral, analytical. People go by the concepts. He has got conceptual clarity, let us hire him. Okay. Some people are directive. I mean to say, my boss told me that this fellow is good, so I do not mind anything. Since my boss told me, I will select him. He is directed by his boss. He is not getting into the nitty-gritty of the candidature. Then some people will say, pay so much of emphasis on behavior. His attitude is good. His rating on the psychometric test is very good. Okay. His behavior compatible to what is required for the organization and for the team. So, I will take him, though he is very less on technical aspects. It does not matter, because you wanted the right attitude people, and people are some people are very heavily relying on the analytics, data, and the skills to do analysis and things like that. So, they do so much of analysis, and they will select only people who are analytical in nature. And or there may be occasions where a particular role requires analytical kind of thing. Decision making is driven by the analysis, power of analysis. So, that is how people will take various decisions. Decisions are many types. These decisions have major resource propositions for an organization, the main characteristics. Some of the strategic decisions are listed below, you will see in that. Strategic decisions lead to harmonizing of organizational resources with the threats and opportunities that organization might identify after administering this SWOT analysis. Strategic decisions ultimately result in organizational growth, and these the first characteristic, these decisions have major resource propositions for an organization. See, when you take a strategic decision, you have to invest resources. Say for example, time is also a very wonderful and precious and always scarce resource. If all the CEOs of all the units are sitting with the MD of an organization, they are all spending very valuable time. One day sitting for a strategic decision making meeting. What is the cost of that meeting? The cost of the meeting itself is very high, because their one day salary is spent on this. There is an opportunity cost in that, because had they been in their workplace, they would have added some more value, but it is missing over there. Now they are for a decision making process. So, you need to understand, when you make strategic decision making, you invest huge resources are, sometimes you have taken a strategic decision to acquire one unit. You have to acquire at a cost, at a market cost, which may be really not the real cost. You have to give goodwill. So much of activity is there, and so much of investment is happening for acquisitions, mergers, even getting into diversified business. These are all strategic decisions. So, they are having a resource propositions which are very high. There are 7 steps of effective decision making. These steps are very well given there in your books also. Very easy to understand, but I relate them to a real situations. What is the decision that you have to take? You have to identify the decision, which means you must have a credible data and authentic information and verifiable observations before identifying the decision. All these things are already there. Step 1 is really very critical in 7 steps of effective marketing, effective decision making. Whether it is for marketing, whether it is for production, whether it is for hiring, whether it is for investing, diversification, mergers, acquisitions, you call anything. Let us talk about the criticality. Step 1, prevent hasty decisions. Don't take decisions in a hasty manner. Take calculated risks, take informed decisions, make more informed decisions. Identify the question to answer and problem to solve. If this is clear, everything is clear. Make the decision measurable and timely. Don't waste time, because time is a resource. For example, for playing an ad in the social media or in the mainstream media like NDTV or India Today channel or Republic channel or ABN channel, any channel, if you want to play one advertisement, they will cost you on the basis of seconds. So, second for them is a value, and second for them is also a value for the company which is paying for that ad. So, time is money. So, time you have to look at it. Famous management guru Peter Drucker has elaborately discussed this issue and observed that once a problem has been classified as generic or unique, it is usually fairly easy to define. What is this all about? What is pertinent here? What is the key to this situation? These are all the questions you have to ask. Peter Drucker continues to observe that effective decision makers always check for the atypical signs or something unusual. Atypical means which is not typical. Typical means generally happening, routinely happening. Atypical means unusually happening in the organization, and keep asking whether or not the current definition could explain the observed unusual events, and does the current definition explain all types of them, which means in an organization there is a buzz going. Suppose the buzz going that some of the key people are going to leave the organization. You are going to make a decision about announcing the increments. Is it not linked? There is an atypical observation which is being made in the name of the buzz which is making rounds in the organizational culture and the communication systems, very informal communication, not the formal communication systems. Then you have to take cognizance of this buzz. I mean to say, this rumor that some key people are going to leave. You have to look at them. If they are to be retained, better retain them. If they are good riddance, leave them, gracefully exit them. So, this is the kind of a decision organizations will have to make. Step 2, gather relevant information, which has been time and again reinforced, told several times. MIS is the heart of the organizations. You must have internal assessment system, because it guesses, it gauges our extent of failure and our extent of success. You have to refer online resources, research reports, government plans, political environment, and you have to consult a person who is an expert like a consultant and take inputs from him. All these things will help you make a right decision, because it is going to impact everybody in the organization. So, a collective effort is essential to take a right decision. Step 3, identify the alternatives. You have a solution, you have A, B, C, D alternatives. I mean to say, the solution, you have a problem and you have got solutions which are A, B, C, D. What is best for you? Use imagination and additional information to construct new alternatives. See, it is a creative process. Decision making is a creative process, just like planning. And when you take a decision, you have to take a decision using sometimes your imagination, because your imagination comes from your experience. A person with some years of experience or 2 decades of experience, 3 decades of experience will be in a position to judge another person relatively in a better manner because he had seen several people. He had judged several people. A Supreme Court judge will become Chief Justice. Why? Because his process of judgments, his quality of judgments and his years of experience will enable him to give better and the best judgments over a period of time. Unfortunately, sometimes in our collegium system, the only years of experience is being counted, but probably over a period of time you will see quality playing a major role in deciding who shall be the Chief Justice of India, what kind of judgments he had given so far, how the judgments have impacted the society, industry or whatever it is. So, that is going to become a reality of making a decision about who shall be the Chief Justice of India. These are all I am just giving you an example about that. Determine which course of action is the best way to achieve the set goal. Check for cost, reliability, stability, invulnerability, which means it is not vulnerable to some sort of problems. It is invulnerable, which is there is nothing. It is sealed from any kind of dangers. It is flexible, compatible, reversible and robustness. It can be reversed. Suppose you have done this one, you are getting you are going to get an end result which you do not want, you can reverse it. Is it possible, that kind of a thing? There are some decisions which can be done that way. Suppose you have used a process by which you produced X material, you can use the X material for some other purpose. So, you can go up to that extent and do that. Step 4, weight the evidence. Evidence is important. Organizations take a very balanced view, proof and faith. When they assign a leadership position to a person, they have some proof that this fellow worked very well, and they have some faith in him because he is loyal so far, and he has proved in his behavior with consistency, reliability, trustworthiness, okay, and he is righteous always. He does not hurt people. He is very assertive. At the same time, he will tell what he wants to tell without hurting others. That is what is assertiveness. So, you have a faith in him because that is not measurable, but it is something which you have observed in him consistently, like that. Evaluate the evidence or against each of these alternatives, list implications of implementing each alternative. You have to list, if I implement plan A, okay, choice A, what are the going to be, or solution A, solution solution B, solution 3, what are the implications, what are the consequences. Identify potential pitfalls for each alternative. List the alternatives in priority order based on your value system, which is every organization work on a value system, every family work on a value system. Some family at any cost will not sacrifice their family values, their traditions, their culture, and they stay together. Some families still you will find joint families. Under one roof you will find 4 generations living together, absolutely no problem. People may say that they are making compromises, they are compromising their personal privacy, you may call anything for that matter, but that family values that. Who are you to talk about that? It is their choice. Why do you worry about that one? That is how we have to look at it. So, my intention of telling all these things is that proof and faith play a major role. Choose step number 5, choose among alternatives. We may begin to prefer those alternatives that seem to have higher potential for achieving our goals, and targets would select the best alternatives. We may also have a combination of alternatives. Now, you are seeing to combat COVID, there is something called cocktail vaccine. Covaxin and Covishield are put together to combat COVID. Why this is happening? Because researchers, R&D scientists who are having vast experience in combating the viral infections are doing so many combinations and permutations, combinations and permutations of arriving at one particular vaccine which is going to have a long impact, lasting impact, and even it can treat various variants of the virus. So, that is how it is happening. Our choice is the step our choice in this step might be the same or similar to the alternative we have placed at the top of our list or at the end of step 4. I mean to say, step 4, if you result that one, list the alternatives. Yes, you will choose that one. Okay, it may be the same. You must take action. That is step 6. Decision making ends only when you take action. Decision making gets concluded when you take action. This step involves identifying what resources are required, whether or not we are getting enough support from all. Then start with a celebration, which is missing. When they take a decision to start, there is something called kickstart meeting. When you are doing a kickstart meeting to start a project, you must celebrate. You must start with a positive vibration, because which is going to lead to a positive way of looking at things. Even though there are small disappointments in the beginning itself, people should not get demotivated. A project leader will have to look at so many things and guide and assess, is the value being generated or not. If it is not generating, then stop it, does not matter. So, it is the choice of the project leader who is seeing the overall picture, who will take the decision. So, step 7 is reviewing the results thoroughly after implementing it. Get ready to gather more information, somewhat different information, or explore additional alternatives or explore additional areas. So, this is how a decision making process. Is it not common sense? Is it not applicable to all of you? Would you not undergo this kind of steps unconsciously? You all will go through unconsciously. Now, we are putting it in a course mode, because this is going to give you more clarity and conceptual clarity. When you take a decision, you will also at your subconscious level, these things are already there. So, this must certainly add value to your personal life. BBA in the rural management must add value to you through this kind of internalization of the knowledge. What are the challenges in decision making? Information overload. Sometimes some organizations are crazy about information. Give that information, give this information. So, sometimes so too much of information, too much of analysis leads to paralysis. There is a very famous saying in that one, and there is also famous saying about statistics. I do not know whether you are aware of it or not, but lies, damn lies and statistics. You see that one, which means sometimes statistics may not be able to give you so much of reality. Misidentifying the problem identification itself is a problem. Then the entire process will go for a toss. That is all. You will not be able to solve any problem, rather you create another problem. Some people will have overconfidence on the outcome. They follow all 7 steps religiously, still they may get an outcome that won't be exactly what they had in mind. This is due to an element called being overconfident about results. You have to check results when they are started flowing in. When the result is not adequate, then you have to do the cross checking, which means don't continuously do that one. Pause and ponder over. You must give a pause and ponder over, is this going to be continuously happening, or is it really consistent? If error is happening, is there error happening consistently? Is it happening randomly, or is it happening at some time after 15 units? But error is happening, that is one thing, you have to live with it. So, can you remove that one? You have to look at that one. Should not be nasty, that is what mentioned very clearly, hasty decisions. Hasty decisions are going to lead you into troubles or create more problems. We have learnt so far in this module, unit 4, module 4, performance evaluation and reward, how it is important, need for MBO, limitations of MBO, 7 steps of decision making, what are the challenges in decision making. Hope this information will add so much value to your lives, first of all, because you must internalize. BBA course offered by this institute is both professionally and personally value adding course, because this course is going to give you a broader perspective of the life and your life in an organization in which you join. All the best to you. Thanks for your patient listening and have a great day.